Welcome to the podcast with your favorite cash flow guys, Mike and Blaine. Giving you the best advice while having a beer. When you're running a business, there are problems every day. Let Mike and Blaine help you out and guide your way. Cheers to the good times with Mike and Blaine for business, beer, and BS.
Hey, it's Mike and Blaine. This episode 191. We are closing in on 200. I'm Mike Mylan, also known as Cashflow Mike. That is my friend and my partner, Blaine Birch from Drive Run. What's up, my man? How's it going?
This is the month of Tuesdays. Because I think we're doing Tuesdays almost every week this month because either you're out of town or I'm out of town or you got guests or something. Next week's Tuesday as well. So if you're listening, by the end of May or into June, we'll be back to our usual Thursdays for the live feed. So don't get too confused.
Yeah, totally my fault. This week I got like 25 people coming in to San Antonio, either virtually or in person. We're having an event, right? I do it twice a year. They already pressured me to make the date for the fall. Is that weird? People are already saying, hey,
Nice.
well, let's pencil it in now. I'm like, we haven't had this one. You might not like it. You might not like this one. Why are you wanting to already plan the next one? Cash Flow Cowboy.
Be optimistic, man.
Yeah, the Cash Flow Cowboy. As we're setting the date, I guess it's in pen now, not in pencil. Like, hey, let's think about it for a second. He bought plane tickets on the call.
Nice.
Can you believe that? Like for like November, it's going to be like in November now. So, but that one's going to be exciting because I'm going to do the full 2-day Clear Path to Cash. I've never done it for my own group. That's weird, right? The thing that I got known for the last 10 years, going to banks, doing this 2-day seminar. I've never done it end to end for my own group. So this is going to be the first time I'll do that.
Perfect. Awesome. Love to see it.
Yeah. Come to San Antonio.
Maybe I will. Well, November could happen.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, I got a room for you right here. Room, own bathroom, own thing. It's like everything.
I know we have to make it out there. We're going to show up on Christmas morning. Dunk, 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 dunk.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, because I mean, we'll what do we do on Christmas? Mimosas? Is that what you do on Christmas mornings? I can't remember.
We always we have the weirdest Christmas because we do our Christmas before we leave Canada with all of our families, and then actual Christmas Day, we just like hop on our bikes, go for brunch. That's just kind of weird. Go for dinner, go to the neighbors Christmas Eve. It's fun, but it's just kind of we got weird traditions now. So,
well, if it was the Christmas story, you go to a Chinese restaurant and have duck. You remember that?
I do remember
the ducks.
Yeah,
chop off the duck's head right in front of the family.
And I do love Peking duck. I do love it. It's delicious. So
it's fantastic food.
I literally, the first time I had it was in Beijing, which is the original or the new name of Peking, which is the original place where they made Peking duck. So
is that one of your Moreno or whatever it is t-shirts? Your Japanese?
Oh, of course it is. And it's Merino. And this is a Canadian company, Unbound Merino in Ontario. I love their stuff. I know it's really bright. I just got lazy. I was going to go upstairs and take it off so I don't blind everybody, but I didn't. And so now you're going to be stuck with this glaring white shirt for the rest of the show.
All right. I just got the old Cashflow mic. I've been on so many podcasts lately. I tell you, I've been a guest on, I think it's 2 or 3 a week right now. It's been kind of crazy.
Terrific.
I mean, so they're racking up. I mean, creating backlinks, getting the story out there. I mean, it's just as many people as I can talk to right now. I'm trying to do it. So my voice is hoarse because I'm talking a lot.
It's good stuff, man. That's what you want. Yeah. It's terrific.
Yeah. Right on. Hey, if you're wondering what the hell is going on because you just tuned in, you're like, I'm gonna try this Michael Blaine thing. You're like going, where did that go? It didn't go anywhere. We don't really know how to start a show. So this is Mike and Blaine. We talk about business. We talk about beer. We talk about BS. And you got a little bit of BS right at there at the front. So let's talk about beer. What you drinking today? What you got?
Okay, so I looked at our topic. I always try and find something topical. And then I looked at my fridge and realized I got to do a beer run. So this is what we have. So I grabbed a beer, but it is a really cool beer. It is called Border Hop West Coast Pale Ale. So I glanced at it and I said, okay, that sounds neat. I wonder why it's called Border Hop. Brewed in Calgary, Alberta, just down the road here, which I'll be in Calgary next week, and maybe I'll make it over to Cabin and Last Best. So Cabin and Last Best are two awesome breweries in Calgary. If I remember right, they're right across the street from each other, or they might be a little further away, but I'm pretty sure they're right across the street from each other. But when I was looking at the can, I was like, oh, it's made by Cabin. Oh, wait. Last Best's on here. Well, it must be a collaboration. And then I looked, it's also a collaboration with Bale Breaker in Yakima, Washington. So I think that's what the Border Hop is that it's an actual collaboration between two Canadian breweries and one American brewery. I hope I'm not missing any other breweries on here. And I think that's why it's called Border Hop.
They have a ton of hops they grow in Yakima. I mean,
really?
It's a crazy amount of hops. Yeah. Yeah. You should look it up. I think the Yakima hops is one of the ones that's used by Budweiser, like everybody, but you go out there. I mean, I've got a picture of me, like I've never even seen a hop plant until I went to Yakima and I got off on the side of the road. I'm like, oh shit, look at those things are huge too. I mean, they're just massive. They're taller than I am. And they're just full of fruit, or the actual hop itself. And it's just
nice.
Amazing. The smell, all of it. I mean, it's really cool. So if you're in the Yakima area, look for one of those farms. They're everywhere.
Oh, that's super cool. So yeah, I was kind of excited to have this collaboration beer and crossing the borders to be friendly. Not because, the time in the world right now isn't necessarily as friendly going across the border. And so it's nice to see. Nice to see you guys doing that.
Yeah.
What's
that still a thing? I don't even hear anything about it. Is that still a thing?
I don't know. It's starting to hopefully fade, but still a little bit of a thing. So it's nice to see a small business working across the border like that. So, and I didn't know what it was till I tried it, but it is actually a really delicious beer. So good job, you guys.
All right. So myself, all right, based on the topic, now I'm making a stretch. I'm trying to make my beer fit it. So, but I don't know what it is. It's like going, is it harder to learn as you get older? I mean, is it true that an old dog can't learn a new trick or whatever? So I found this beer by, and I've had stuff by Martin House before. Martin House is up in Fort Worth, Texas. So, but it reminded me of Mozzie, my dog.
Nice.
Right? And it's called the Thunder Crunch, right? Thunder Crunch.
Thunder Crunch.
Yeah, but it's like a Cape wearing. Yeah, it's a chocolate caramel. Was it stout?
Chocolate syrup caramel stout. Oh, that sounds delicious. That sounds great.
I'm excited about it. So, can you teach a new dog or old dog new tricks? That's I don't think that's where we're going today. I mean, maybe, but
sort of, a little bit.
That's kind of what happened. That's what happened. Yeah. So very cool. So we actually have beer sponsors, right? And we actually picked up another one for the rest of the year. And I told some people about it today, as a matter of fact. It is the best $5 you can spend on your business or your brand or your personal message, whatever you want. $5 an episode. It lives forever on the internet. So I'll just introduce the first one. I mean, the Cash Flow Cowboy is back. We already talked about it, right? The Cash Flow Cowboy, one of the best CPAs in Houston, Texas. He has been a 2-year member of the Clear Path to Cash. This guy knows cash flow and even has a book. He licensed my book, The 7-Minute Conversation. He has a contractor's edition. It's on Amazon. So go there to Amazon, 7-Minute Conversation for contractors. This guy, he knows his stuff. Larry Weinstein out of Houston.
One of our other beer sponsors just messaged us on chat. Thanks, Pat. And said, Mike, turn up your mic.
Oh, remember I scooted mine back because you always give me hell about it.
Did you?
Here, I'll move it forward.
Actually, just double check you're on the right mic. Make sure you're on the right one and everything. Thanks, Pat.
Check, mic check on the mic.
It's funny because it looks really good from when I'm looking at it. It actually looks really good.
I had it back farther. I was trying something different.
Yeah. Okay, Pat, is that better? Please let us know. We'll use a little AI and we'll get the audio good. So by the time, if you're listening to the stream version later, not the live version, hopefully the audio sounds good because we use a little bit of AI trickery to make it sound good. But I do want to mention neighbor Pat. He's the one that just asked Mike to turn up his mic. Thank you, Pat. Pat has been a beer sponsor forever and oftentimes just walks the beer down to Mike. He lives right up the street from Mike,
Hey,
walks it down and drops it off, and also makes his own amazing beer.
yeah, speaking of, in about 45 to 50 minutes, come down and get one of these because this is fantastic. This is one of the best beers I've ever had. Pat, I got 2 extras in the fridge. Come get one.
Nice. Pat, when you get down there, ask Mike for a glass.
Uh-huh.
I never drink from a can. I can't believe you drink from a can. I'm always like, have to pour it in a glass.
You know, normally these beers I drink in a glass, but I try to actually promote the brand, right? So even though we just talk about it up front, one of these days, another brewer is going to say, I want my beer promoted on it. So yeah, there you go. I try to give them cred. I try to give them a little bit of face time.
I do like that. I do. You're very good at that. I'm such a beer snob that I have to have it out of a glass. But we got 2 more sponsors we got to mention before we dive into our topic. Rachel Barnett from Gentle Frog. So if you're out there, you have a small business and you need to understand how to use QuickBooks Online, which you probably do because you're probably using it, go to gentlefrog.com, or even better, go to YouTube/@gentlefrog. And Rachel will show you with a bajillion videos how to make the most out of QBO, so you can learn a ton. So thanks again, Rachel. Appreciate it. And these are all sponsors basically going all the way through to the end of the year already. So amazing.
Well, and then we got Karen Harrison. I just got off a call with her right before we started recording this. She got selected to speak at the SBDC National Conference in Orlando this year. So did I. So that's really going to be cool that Karen of 3S Smart Consulting out of Michigan, she has got a national stage to talk to SBDC advisors and train them on what she knows about cash flow and working with clients. And I don't know her topic just yet, but I know that's what she's the specialist at. And we're going to be there together. So it's going to be really cool to see her in person.
It's awesome. That sounds like a fun time. Sorry I'm going to miss it, but I don't think I'll be in Orlando whenever that is. So
September first week, like 3rd through 9th or something, like 4th through 10th. I don't know, something like that.
Okay, cool. Sounds like fun. So you brought the topic in today, learning again for the first time. And I want to know how you came up with the idea for this topic, because every time you bring in a topic, like right before the show, I said, hey, great topic. And you thought I was making fun of you or something. Like, no, you come up with really good topics, and this is a really good one.
All right. Well, every time we come, first of all, again, if you're new to the show, I don't make up the topic until like 5 minutes before the show, right? And you've probably checked and saw a blank page before.
I literally, I bring up the Google Doc, and I'll watch you type it in because I just want to see what's the topic before I go grab my beer and see if there's a topical one. And I'm just like, wonder where the topic is. And then I can see you start to type, and I'm like, all right, let's go find a beer. And then I go upstairs and I have a couple of 10%ers, giant bottles, and Border Hop. So like, we was doing Border Hop today. So, but it was delicious. So, yeah, good topic.
All right,
though.
So here's the thing. I'm learning more and more. I'm year 3 of this website and finally getting my message down and finally understanding who I am and who my customer is. So I took on a project the last couple of months to improve my SEO, right? So search engine optimization. And there is so much involved in that, just a crazy amount, right? And I was using this product called All-in-One SEO. That's a WordPress plugin that kind of helps you, but you still have to do a shit ton of work.
Yeah.
All this stuff. Okay, so someone introduced me at the conference last week, introduced me to this company called Search Atlas. All right, so Search Atlas, and they make a product called Otto, OTTO, which is an AI-driven and one-click fix your stuff all the way through the website, right?
Yeah.
Now I had to buy some AI credits, but for like $60, I got the whole website. I mean, every tag, every meta thing, everything, and improve the whole website. So I'm really excited to see what happens next. But when somebody scours your website, it's like a learning experience all over again because I'm like, "Oh, I didn't think about that," or "I didn't know that was important," or, it's just all these little things that
Yep.
play together. Even, whether or not your images are compressed well enough, those type of things. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's such a pain in the neck to learn this stuff. As I'm in my mid-50s, it's SEO stuff. I'd rather push it out, but the guy I wanted to do it was gonna charge like $500 a month. This thing was $100 with a one click. I'm
Yep.
like going, well, maybe AI does know this better than me because it's talking to another computer, right?
Yep.
It's computer to computer, probably gonna know better than I do because I've had people do SEO in the past, and I still had holes in the game, right?
Yep.
That the computer found. So that's where it started. But then it got me thinking about everything learning. Is there a point in time when learning is harder?
Well, I think so. I think I don't know at what point it started to get harder, but I do find that, and I've heard it before, but I do find as you get older, it does get trickier. Like when you're a kid, you're like a sponge. When you're a teenager, you're like a sponge. It's like, and I'm not sure that it's that you're that much better at learning as it's easier to focus and just drive on something. And as you get older, it's like there's a lot of distractions and there's so many things to do. And it's just, I think it's harder to focus. Um, but like technology is a great example. If I think back and I'm like, yeah, it's harder to learn it. Like I'm north of 50 as well. It's harder to learn at this age. But then I think about all the things that I've done over the past year that you've done over the past year. And we're both got like AI agents messing around and stuff that like, no, we can learn. It feels harder and it feels, I think, harder to dial in and spend that time. Right.
Well, when you look at things like AI or SEO, maybe SEO is not like AI to me, but AI was such a new thing. There's no frame of reference. You and I always rely on experience and frame of reference and, things that we already know said, oh, that's kind of like this with a notch up.
Yep.
I think one time
Yeah.
we talked about there was no new ideas. Haven't we talked about like there's,
Yeah.
there's no, everything is just an evolution of a different idea.
Yeah.
AI seems different than that. It seems like you got to learn it all from scratch, right? Or just accept
Mhm.
whatever it is, that it is.
I think it's gonna it'll become the norm really quick. Like, because you like, I thought about, well, okay, one of my staff got like moved this week and got and she was telling me she got a phone installed. Like, and she goes like the installers, first of all, seemed surprised that they were installing a home phone, like,
Yeah,
plugged into
like
the wall. And then they had a
wait a sec,
rotary.
wait, what?
And then they had a rotary sitting around and she goes, they had no idea how to even work it. It was just, it's fun. You have a fun little like rotary. We for a while had like one like that because it just looked cool and it was fun, right? But they had no idea what it was, how it worked or anything. And you think about, we grew up with, like, you and I both, we were like, I rabbit ears, what, 3 or 4 channels in Canada. One of them was French. It's kind of annoying. Uh, VCR was a big deal. We had rotary phones. I still remember getting our first, like, mobile phone, and it was, like, this big in a leather case that you'd carry around. It was, like, the size of a brick, not quite, but, like, just so we've lived through that, and when you start to think about it, I got a device in my pocket. I've got, like, think about all the stuff that we just we're literally recording a show live. You're in Texas and I'm in Alberta right now, right? Like,
Yeah,
this was not
yeah.
something you could conceive of how many years ago. And when you think about how we've learned and how much we've moved forward, uh, hell yeah, we've learned a ton. But it's easy to kind of look and go, yeah, but there's always someone that's further ahead in technology and everything. I get that, but think about how much the world has changed for us in the last 20 years.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, it was only on movies that you could do a face-to-face video call, right? In our lifetimes, we're like, that ain't gonna happen. That's not gonna happen.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's
Yep.
so many things. I'm like, no, nobody's gonna put a computer in their house. I remember that. Like, no, that's for school.
Yeah. Yeah. It was.
I mean, it was crazy like that. I mean, you heard people talk
Yep.
about it. You saw it on TV. You know that you're like, nah, I don't think so. Uh, and in a lot of ways, because we were there at the beginning, it was easier to understand how we got to this point, right? Because again, there's an evolution of an idea, and we kind of grew into it over time. Well, a 5-year-old now doesn't have that. They just that's what it is today. That's why they can't figure out what a phone was yesterday.
Yeah.
The
Well, and
rotary
it's the
phone.
same. It was the same thing for them as it was for us. Like, it was so much more advanced when, like, there, you know, television, everything else. Like, there was things that our parents grew up with. Like, you look at my parents, and like, if you look at where they were when they were kids to having like an like an iPhone or whatever, like, it is mind boggling the technology changes they've seen over a lifetime. And I agree, it's like it's much harder to learn, but they do, because my parents, my in-laws, they have tablets, they have like iPhones, they got like they manage these things. It's, I think, more of a challenge to learn, obviously, than the 13-year-old. And same thing for us. It's a different world, but we learn it. Just, I think it's just a different pace, and there's just more. I don't know. There's more noise, I think.
Think about this. All right. So Courtney's parents in their 70s, their first experience with Chat GPT was last month while we were sitting next to him. We just did something like, and it blew his mind like, what? You can just do that like instantly? So yeah, but I don't think he's to the point where he's going to do it right, or try to figure it out.
Yeah.
He's the guy that still does everything he carries a little notepad. Like I carried in the highway patrol where I take it out of my pocket, write down somebody's name and social security number or whatever so I can run their life. He does that for everything now. If he's going to invite people to play poker on the Tuesday afternoon, he's got their phone numbers and all that stuff, like he's got a whole list of things in a notepad.
Yeah.
And he just keeps rebuying notepads. And he has an iPhone. I'm like going, you got the iPhone. What are you doing with the notepad?
I get a notepad beside my desk
Yeah,
all the time.
he's carrying it. I got it on the desk too, right? So, but he's carrying it in his pocket everywhere he goes.
Oh, yeah, but, like, think about all the young people that would be looking at us going, "We have a notepad beside us on the desk."
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of younger people that think that's weird, but it's it's still a transition. It is a big transition, and there's an area of comfort, and, like, it's like anything else. Like, technically, could I do everything on the phone? Yeah, I could, but it's just what's comfortable, right?
Carried an index card folded in my billfold in high school just for phone numbers.
I have a friend of mine who will remain nameless. I doubt he's listening, but I remember it wasn't that many years ago that he pulled out a cell phone, and it wasn't even a smartphone. And then he pulled out a little rolled up piece of paper in the bottom of his pocket and started to unroll it. And he had phone numbers written on it. And I'm like, why don't you add that into your phone? He's like, I don't know how. And he had no interest in learning how. So I just carried this in the bottom of his pocket. It was kind of funny.
Yeah. It's crazy. All right. So, I've been in education now for a long time, right? I mean, teaching at universities and things like that. It's interesting to see how people learn because everybody kind of learns differently, right? Some people can just see it, right? Hey, show me and I get it, right? That's why
Yeah.
in my courses, I try to build in all kinds of different ways, like from the PowerPoint to the lecture to manuals and worksheets that we actually have to do it on, right? So, uh, you just never know how somebody learns, right? So, I mean, how do you learn? What's your favorite way?
I find it much easier when I see things. And they've for a long time they said there was different learning styles, and then someone said there isn't any different learning style. Bullshit, there is. Like
Definitely
I'm
is.
just I pick it up so much easier if I can see it. And like I'm a designer by trade. I design stuff. Like if I can see it and I can visualize it, I learn so much faster. Secondly, I can read things and pick it up. I think I have the biggest struggle with hearing people say it unless I'm writing it down or I'm doing something with it. Like just straight up saying it. That's I think that the biggest challenge for me is to learn versus being able to see and kind of absorb it.
Yeah, interesting. So I go back and forth on being a visual learner, and sometimes I have to read it. Right, I actually have to sit down and see the words. And I've go back and forth. We'll say that I'm doing something in the garage. We'll just say a manual for putting something together. I don't know, or instructions for doing something. I will go back and forth on, do I want to watch the YouTube video or just read it real quick? Because I feel like it's a waste of time because I'm like, oh, I got to wait for some buddy with a video that's taking his time to get to the point where I can just
Yep.
go, miter these two things. And it's like, I can look for a specific word and go right to the area and figure it out real fast. So I think I go back and forth on that. But I'm finding myself more and more on more complex ideas. I'm more what they call reflective learner, which means I got to kind of think it through. I got to
Mhm.
absorb it, maybe not talk about it, but just go, just think about it. And sometimes it doesn't hit me till like a day later. I'm like, going, oh shit, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I don't know why,
Yeah.
but it just marinates or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I would say I can relate to that. Like I have a much easier time with bigger picture, 30,000-foot view, seeing connections. I have more of a struggle with detail, like learning detail, memorizing things, dates, names, detail. I struggle with that, but the concepts and the bigger picture concepts and how they all connect together, I can just see that. Like that's easy for me. And so it's yeah, I think it's um I think different people just have different strengths and where they're and it's useful to recognize where you have the strengths, where you have the weakness, so you can sort of address those things and figure out what how to move, how to address your weaknesses, but also just how to take advantage of your strengths, right?
So I think mine comes down to my eyesight's gotten worse for close up detail type things. So I'm like, it's frustrating. So I'm like, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like my reading.
Okay.
Uh,
I got to tell you, I got to tell you about a technology that will change your life. They're called glasses. And you can get ones that transition from far to close up.
you mean
They're magic.
you mean like progressive glasses?
Yeah,
The thing
that
is
would
that
just solves
I
your
don't
problem.
no, it creates a different problem. Now I gotta go like this, or I gotta figure out how far away I am. And,
You know what? If you wore them all the time, because when I got these, I got almost fall over. These are
yeah,
progressives, right?
these are
And
progressives.
um, but I wear them every day because I can't see far either. Like I'm blind. I can't tell anymore. My brain compensates for everything, and is magic. Everything's clear and
Yeah.
it just works. And I think it's just because your brain gets attuned to it.
So that's what the doctor told me, and I'm like, it's too hard. So I keep them in
Hard,
there, and I put them.
just wear them. Does it?
Yeah,
You just wear them.
here's the thing. Every time I need them, I don't have them. Like yesterday, we went to Saltgrass just to get a little steak, just get something nice to eat. Didn't have them. I cannot see menus. Or am I going steak? Just
Yeah.
steak. 12 ounces.
The
Bring it over
easiest
here.
way to train them, just leave them on your face.
Yeah. Hey,
That's it.
here's something funny about them, right? So I got these Versace's, right? Because I'm fancy.
You were fancy. That's the word, Mike Milan, fancy.
That's what everybody says. I mean, just even the way I talk is fancy. But but I bought these Versaces, right? It was the only style I liked on my face, and it's a hard thing to do when you go into the to lend. I don't even know what to call the place. First time I ever bought glasses, where all the eyeglasses are. You try on 50 different ones. They all look terrible on you if you've never wore glasses. These were the only ones I'm like going, okay, if I had to wear glasses every day, I could wear these. The only ones.
Yeah. You don't want to be me because, with my merino shirts and these are titanium from Italy or something.
Yeah. I told you look like I told you look like the Dig Dug man, right? From that old video game.
Say that. I'm not saying anyone else likes my glasses, although I do get compliments every once in a while. So some people like them and some probably hate them. I couldn't even get him in to try them on. So I photoshopped them onto my face, all these different glasses. And I was actually comparing what they would look like. So I literally went to the website, pulled them off, photoshopped them on my face to see which one I thought might be okay. Because that's just how big a nerd I am. But speaking,
it's totally you though. It's totally you. Hey, these also got the blue blockers in it. So I should be wearing them all the time.
Oh, it absolutely should be. I got the blue blockers. I got the this, that, the other. These transitions. So you go outside, they turn into sunglasses. I got the whole kit and caboodle with them there, but I can't see without them. But speaking of speaking, you are an expert at that, and I think you better tell people why.
Awesome transition, right? So, hey, if you don't know what I do, but you see I wear shirts like Cashflow Mike and I talk about people coming into town, I am Cashflow Mike. You can go check out my stuff at cashflowmike.com. And one of the cool things that I did just this month, I don't even think I've said it on the show before, is for the first time ever, I'm giving away a course, right? A lesson. It's a video course, and it is following my book, The 7-Minute Conversation, right? So if you go to my website, cashflowmike.com, right underneath the header video is a stop, get this course. It's free, right? You download it, you get to see what I do on a daily basis with my clients. It's in video form. You get spreadsheets, you get a digital copy of the book for free. First time ever I've given out a lesson for free, but I want you to know it's like a try before you buy, because if you learn this one technique, you're going to want to know the other 16 that I teach my clients. So if you're looking for cash, if you want to know how to, analyze your financial statements, understand what you're reading and what you're looking at, go check it out. Get the free course and become part of the Clear Path to Cash community.
So we're on episode 191. I think that's the first time I've actually done any sort of, and it was still kind of half-assed compared to yours, but a little bit of a transition into
that was like, I picked up on it, right? I mean, you threw me a softball. So, sometimes when I throw you a softball, you go, oh, that's me.
Sometimes you miss rare. That's been pretty rare.
That is, you're getting better at it. You're getting better at it. I can
usually tell. Yeah. Like you're I don't want to just sit here sticking to my knit, and I'm going to move it over to you. I'm going to just do a nice transition and let you do your thing.
There you go. You did it. It was a nice handoff. Look, you got me wearing my glasses too. Look, I don't wear them.
You look smart. You look really smart.
They are. I probably should try to wear them. Just wear them because I get frustrated. And I get frustrated because I love to read, right? I love to read. Look, by the way, I mean, I saw a thing for a free book on stocks and all that. So I downloaded a free book. But look how big it is. You open this up without your glasses. Yeah, you're not going to read that.
You're not reading now.
No. But it's called Unbreakable Investor. And I'm trying to see if maybe there's something I can learn from it.
Nice. Well, yeah. And again, like coming back to learning, I'm going to throw something out here because we've all heard over and over again, it's easier to learn as a kid when you're young because you're like a sponge somehow, right? But I will throw out here that when you're a kid or a teenager, you can dial in better, and you can just stay focused, and you can learn at a faster rate. You can learn more. But I will say that it cannot compete with how fast we learn at this age because of the years and years of experience. The weakness we have is we can't dial in for hours and hours and hours on end. That's the trick. But a lot of times we don't need to because of our experience. You can pick things up fast. And I'll give you a little BS here. I'll give you a little bit of an example. When I was teenager, junior high, high school, that's when I started playing guitar. And if I look back now, I'm like, man, I learned so much so fast. Like that's what it felt like. But I think truthfully, I could sit there for hours. I could sit for hours on end playing guitar till my fingers were like raw and almost bleeding. I just can't do that now. But I picked up a guitar again recently and just started playing quite a bit again, just not even quite a bit, just messing around. And I can't sit there for hours anymore. Mentally, I just can't do it. But I can learn so much faster. And so I actually even started taking like an online course to start dialing in some theory because I played a guitar for quite a long time and I wanted to take it to a next step with um, some systems and theory and things like that. And I've realized like I don't have a lot of time into it, but I pick it up. I can pick it up really, really fast. And I'm not sure I could have done that as a kid. And so I actually think that we don't give ourselves enough credit when you're a little bit older, you're north of 40, north of 50, on how fast you can actually learn. It's just you're only dedicating a very small amount of time.
Yeah, so that's interesting because if I pick up a guitar right now, and I've had guitars for the last 10 years and I still can't play, right? I just probably because I tried it in my late 40s and it does take that dedication, that amount of time, that work. It's work, right? I mean, I don't know that there's many people who can just pick up a guitar and say, "Oh, I get it." You know,
Nobody,
nobody.
zero, like nobody can do that. But when I was a kid, I could absolutely dial in. I could sit there for hours. I guarantee you can't do that. But I actually think if we did an experiment with a teenager and you would it's like they have this advantage where they can dial in for hours. But I bet you if we actually looked at how far you got per minute, you would get further because I think you'd be able to learn a lot faster. What you're not able to do is dial in for 3 hours or even just dedicate 3 hours of time, right?
And this is where so I bought the online course too. So, but I think now I would be better suited to go into a studio or whatever, whoever teaches music
A
lessons is
lesson.
and have a guy kinda kick my ass. "No, do it again." You know what I mean? Like, that's why some people can't lose weight. They have to have a personal trainer there to tell them what to do and what exercise and those type of things. I think that would be my experience with the guitar. I could learn it if I had somebody kinda kick my ass.
Yeah, no, like because it forces you to dedicate time.
Yeah, yeah,
I
probably.
I would struggle a little bit with that because I don't deal well with rules. I never have, right? So you have to be here at this time and listen to this person. I'm like, yeah, screw off. I don't want to do that. Like, but I'm pretty good at dialing in on my own. Like I'm just pretty good at doing that. I can if I want to do something, I can just kind of dial in and do it. Um, but what I like about these online courses I've started to take, and it's the cool thing for me is I discover courses, they're not starter courses. They're like I'm no expert, but they're like a mid-level. Like I played for a long time and I can go like, here's where I am and I can kind of go up, but it's still my time. I still dial in. I can still kind of skip shit if I don't want to do it, right? Uh but when I was a kid, that was a bit of a problem with me. Like my parents put me into guitar lessons and they put me in classical guitar lessons because I don't know why, like they thought that'd be a good idea to learn theory or something like that. And I broke my teacher. I just refused to learn what he wanted to learn. And I would go home and I would buy magazines at 7-Eleven that had the latest Van Halen song in, and I would learn it. And then I would go to my class. Did you learn what you're supposed to do this week? No.
Yes.
Let me
I
show
would say
you what I
yes.
learned. And I was shameless. I would literally go, let me show you what I learned. And I would play some Van Halen lick or song or something, or like any other hair band from the 80s when I had hair. But when I was engaged with it, I was like a sponge. I could learn just like I could sit there for hours, but I couldn't do it when someone else said, you have to do this, you have to do that. I just did not respond well to that. And I just didn't. I just refused. I just often do my own thing. But I did learn guitar that way. Unfortunately, I didn't really learn theory that well because I learned all of it by ear and through magazines of like old Van Halen songs.
Interesting, right? Because I would have said, yeah, I learned exactly what I was supposed to. I learned this Van Halen thing. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, because you realize like you have to play. Like he would just say, "Well, play what I assigned last week," and I'm like, "No."
But
The
that's
guy
not what
finally
I was
broke, and he
supposed to learn.
started. Yeah, he would just
That's not
started
what I was
after a
supposed
while.
to learn.
He would just start showing me blues licks and things because he knew I'm like, this is short lived, and this guy is not going to learn green
Yeah.
sleeves or whatever it was. I'd be like,
Ugh.
no, just didn't respond well to that.
All right, so here's what I learned about adults, right? Teaching adults now, and I'm getting ready to go to Colorado again in July. That there is a such thing as the why factor. I can't teach anybody a skill and not tell them why it's necessary. Adults,
Yeah.
you can
Oh,
teach it
yeah.
to kids. A lot of times you can do it, but I mean, once you become an adult learner, if you don't get the why, the connection, you're investing zero effort into it because we realize that our time is being challenged everywhere from all angles.
Yeah.
And so if I don't understand well why that's important right now or why I should know it, I ain't spending any time with it.
Yeah. Interesting. Do you think that kids, maybe they do today, because I don't know what their curriculum is. Do you think kids would actually benefit more from a why before you even start?
You would think, right? Because that's their favorite question. Why?
Hmm.
Why? Why?
Yeah.
But I don't think grade school, maybe in high school they start to get into why, but I don't think in grade school they do say this is your colors. They never tell you it's
I,
why you should know your colors or why you should know
yeah.
numbers or maybe they do. They say you won't be able to read if you know what the alphabet is.
See, I don't even know if I don't remember them ever explaining why in like math class I have to learn something. Where a lot of math is actually just teaching you how to do logic. A lot of it isn't about, like we deal with everyday finance and things like that. It's actually learning how to learn and learning how to do logic, sort of almost like puzzles, but they don't
Well,
really tell you that, right?
yeah, well, I've told you probably several times that I didn't really understand math until I was a state trooper. like, and they sent me to a course called accident reconstruction. What they didn't say is, "Oh, you're going to learn trigonometry, geometry, and calculus." They didn't say that, or I would have said, "I'm not going to that." I wasn't that
Yeah.
great about that at school. They just said, "No, you're going to learn how to investigate accidents." You
Yeah.
get there, and the way they teach it is about connecting the evidence on the roadway to a formula. Oh, well, when you collect this evidence, it was more about the evidence, and then you plug this number
Interesting.
into this equation, and all of a sudden it wasn't x equals y plus z or whatever. It was, distance of skid, coefficient of friction, how sticky something is, and
Yeah.
the ramp angle that somebody took off at. I'm like going, oh shit, that's what math is. Why don't they tell me that in high school? Because I would have learned a lot more about math if I'd have
Yeah.
connected it to something I was going to do in the future.
Again, it comes down to the why, right?
To the why.
Because I'll be honest, I struggled in math in junior high and high school. Now, coincidentally, I probably struggled in almost all courses. It Because for those of you in Edmonton that you remember Heritage Mall, I spent more time probably at Heritage Mall, Southgate Mall, and in grade 12 at the power plant playing pool at the University of Alberta because I was there more often than at high school. But the why did appear because there was a point where my grades weren't necessarily, they weren't bad. I just kind of could squeak through and do okay. But when I wanted to get into university, so I had a goal. And as soon as I had a why and I had a goal, I could apply myself and I got good grades for the last semester so I could get my grades. And I had that goal in mind, right? So it's interesting because the why I think is actually, you brought it up, I think it's ultra, ultra, ultra critical to be able to engage people and I think engage kids and engage youth and definitely engage adults because otherwise there isn't a whole lot of motivation.
Yeah, it's and I think I'm more that way now. The older I get, I have to know the why,
Oh
right?
yeah, because we don't have time for bullshit, you know.
Yeah, I think I've said it 100 times where I'm saying, I don't want my time wasted, but gosh darn it, I love to waste time. I mean, I have no problem wasting time.
Funny
I
how it
mean,
happens. Yeah.
but I don't want you to waste it.
Yeah, exactly. I'll waste my own time on my own dime, you know, but
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. So, hey, tell me about the Oilers. What's going on, man? You're almost advancing now, right?
Uh
All right, so
they're doing okay.
first of all, you go, Mike, I think you said all. Like we do in Texas, right? So you probably took you a minute to figure out what I was talking about.
No, I just jumped as soon as you said Oilers, my brain turned to plan B, which was okay. So this is kind of funny because this is one of those motivation things about how easy or hard it is to learn. And if you think it, for whatever reason, you're engaged with it and you think it matters, I can tell you about Oilers from 1982. You know, like I could go back through rosters for years, right? Useless information, absolutely useless. But they're doing okay. Everyone here is a little worried because their best defenseman by 1,000 miles and their defense is not great, is injured and still out for a couple more weeks minimum.
Yeah,
So
but
they're
they're up
they're
like
doing this
3-1.
on. They're up 3-1 on Vegas. Hopefully they can pull through. Then it gets tough if they likely have to go against Dallas, and they're going to need Ekholm on defense, and I'm not sure he'll be back. So it's a challenge, but I don't know, they're kind of pulling through. They're doing okay.
Hey, that's really interesting what you said about I know stuff from the 80s. I know stuff I'm the same way with sports teams. When I was young, I was in. I could tell you what was happening, who might be traded, who this, that, and the other. Now I'm like going, dude, I don't even know half the people on any team. I just
Yeah.
don't.
I
Right?
used
I
to be
mean,
an encyclopedia. I agree. I follow enough of the Oilers to know who they are, follow enough of F1 to know what's going on. But when I was a kid, I knew who they drafted in the third round of whatever
and
5
why
years
that was the
ago.
right pick. Yeah, why that was the right pick and all that because
Usually
of
why that was the stupid pick, but that's how it goes.
So it goes back to me with this NIL stuff, name, image, and likeness for the college.
Okay.
Our
What
whole
is that?
basketball team. All right, so it, I guess you probably don't know that. Like the NCAA, the College Athletic Association, allowed people to finally be paid for use of
Oh,
their name, for their image, for their likeness. So companies can, sponsor a college player and the college player can accept the money. Used to be you
which
couldn't.
was
And they were
that's
giving it under the table, right? It was just like, hey, we
long
can't
overdue.
control it. Yeah.
Long
Long overdue.
overdue for the amount of money that the colleges made. That's long overdue. So good for them. Yeah.
So what was happening to some college players was that they would get local businesses, like there'd be a local car dealership or, a clothing shop, ice cream cone shop, I don't know, sponsor, these players with not a lot of money, but something. Like, hey, if you come make an appearance at our ice cream shop, we'll give you free ice cream for the year, or we'll give you, X $1,000. Well, now you see people getting Lamborghinis. Like, somebody's turning down their scholarship at one school because another school offers them $2 million. I mean, some of these athletes are making more money in college than they will in the pros, right? So I don't know how long lived it is, because there'll be businesses that go, did I really get $5 million worth of benefit out of him last year? Because now what's happening is this opening of the transfer portal. Kids will just go, don't really like it here. I only got $100,000 from this school's, fans, but over here they're offering me $1 million, and they're jumping schools. We lost our entire basketball team at Baylor this year. All of it. Not all to transfer portal or you move into other schools. Some of it's graduation, some of it's going to the pros, but that's a whole new basketball team next year. So am I going, how hard is it going to be a fan of a team and really be into a player if he's only going to be there for 8 months, 9 months and gone?
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. I mean, I was disappointed. Football's that way. Basketball's that way. It's just, it's hard to be a fan.
And if you're a high school player, you are going to want to raise your profile so that you can get picked up by a top university, and they will pay you top dollar, and they will give you a Lamborghini. And I will tell you, the absolute best way to do that is to become a beer sponsor on Mike and Blaine for $5 a month, an episode. And we will talk about you and how good of a, dude, this guy's like a 4.140 or whatever. We will talk about you every episode.
That's right. And we will try to find you a Fiddle Hopper sponsor to go with it.
You will just you can wear them on your feet. You can wear them on your head. The Fiddle Hoppers are just, they're the universal, it's just a logo stuff.
That's right. So, man, can you believe we did 191? Did you learn anything? Let me ask you this. That's the big question. Did you learn anything?
Yes. Don't quiz me on what it is, because I'm really not too sure. But I'm sure there's something in there that was a bit of a nugget.
Yeah, so an old dog can learn a new trick.
Pat was listening. He said he loves math because of physics and electronics, where we just love math because of finance. So, Pat, thanks for mentioning that there's more to math than finance. Physics actually sounds pretty important too.
I want every engineer out there to learn math, because I don't want a bridge falling down when I drive it over the top of it. Make sure you understand math.
My first class in physics in grade 12 in high school, I skipped because it was a beautiful day, and I went to the rink and played hockey on the rink all afternoon. And I showed up to the second class, and I still remember the teacher looking at me and going, "You weren't here last class." And I remember looking at him going, "Yeah, I was at the rink. It was beautiful out there." And he just didn't even know what to say. And I'm like, it was blue sky. It was gorgeous, man. Like, that's where I spent my afternoon. So apparently I wasn't the best student, I think, but I got better.
All right. Well, you are a super student of Mike and Blaine topics, because you always add insight. You always add value to these conversations. So thank you.
Thank you for all that bullshit, because that's where the BS comes in. I will take it and be happy with it. But if you are listening to the show, make sure, we forgot to even ask you before, please like, subscribe, follow. It is so important. It just helps us. Google loves it when you do that. YouTube loves it when you do that. And also, if you want to be beer sponsor, just go to mikeandblaine.com. You can buy us beer right there. $5 an episode. We will talk about you, talk about your business. It's the best $5 you'll ever spend. And we're getting close to episode 200. And Pat, you're in the mix here. Everyone that likes, subscribe, comments on an episode, even sends us a message about the show on our cell phones, because we get those every once in a while too, will be entered into the draw for the 2 Hundo Super PAC, because we haven't come up with a better name yet. And we're not sure what's in there yet, but it'll be fun.
There you go. 2 Hundo Super Pack. You need it. You want it. Well, it's like an apple. Have it every day. There you go. Hey, man, we'll see you next time.
Check out their website at mikeandblaine.com. Then subscribe to the podcast and buy these guys a beer.